ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of On the Guest List with Foxtrot and the Get Down, White Sox Dave, Kenny Carkeet, and Dante. Do I just take Kenny's name out of the intro now?
I was just gonna say, why don't we stop saying his name, and when he comes on, we can introduce him as a guest.
What do we need to do at this point? Because I don't know.
I told you, bring Mark from OAR in to replace Kenny, and then Kenny can try to earn his seat back.
Look, our guest today,
Robert's would 100% come on. You know he would.
I know,
and take Kenny's spot.
But Robert's just so fucking busy. Like, so unbelievably busy. Kenny has nothing to do other than rear children. Like, there's nothing he has to do. Do you think that Kenny's been doing?
He's a mid husband.
A mid?
Do you think? Yeah, mid. Do you think that Kenny's doing this as a motivational tactic to get us to go to number one? Do you think?
Because we're just killing it without him.
Yeah, Kenny. I honestly, proof's in the pudding. Just on that note, I just want to say something.
I'm the man who has the ball.
I'm the man
who can throw it faster than fuck. So that is why I am better than everyone in the world. Kiss my ass and suck my dick, everyone. You've reached the
Check the charts, pussies. Number 12 music commentary podcast, number 75 overall music podcast in the world. Suck it, Kenny Carkeet.
I love how excited you are, but I hate to burst your bubble.
Go.
Those Apple charts are so fucking off.
I don't care. What does it say?
I know we very well could be there, but like,
we're probably not.
It's not just downloads week to week and like week over week. I don't know what their formula is, but there is zero rhyme or reason to it.
I don't give a fuck. It doesn't
good.
Make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me either.
Guys, listen. If this was like Dash Radio, no offense to Dash Radio, or like Real Player, some janky company, I would agree with you. This is Apple we're talking about. Apple does not fuck around with anything. So
look, I'm
taking their numbers as holy grail.
I agree, and I don't know what the fucking formula is because this makes no sense. We've had weeks where we've done way better, but maybe it's aggregate over the fact that we've been killing it in the last 2 months. I don't know. I don't give a shit because it says it on the website. That's all I care about. That's it.
Yeah, that's fair, but like, keep busting out great content and great dialogue, and that's what we worry about. Don't worry about chasing numbers because then you're chasing the wrong thing.
Dave, if I have the opportunity to play that Kenny Powers clip, I'm going to play it.
Very fair.
That's what I'm saying.
I just introduced that show to a girl that I'm friends with, and she had never heard of it. I'm like, what?
What?
I'm like, she's like, I've never heard of it. I'm like, you know Will Ferrell, right? You know, like Craig Robinson and Danny McBride, right? And she's like, yeah, I've heard of them all. Like, of course, Will Ferrell.
Ashley Schaefer. Ashley Schaefer is the most underrated TV character of all time.
But he's not even the best side character in the show.
Agreed.
It's Stevie Janowski.
Stevie Janowski.
Yeah.
You mean Cherry Blossom?
Dave, how long until you get a text from her asking if that's a biopic on you?
Of me?
Yeah. Is this show about you?
I always get Costanza, Eric Cartman, and Kenny Powers.
You're like a combination of three.
That's like a lethal combo to have.
What a trio!
It's depending on the day of the week which one Dave is. Dave could be Kenny Powers one day and Costanza the next. I love it. Okay, so let's introduce today's guest. We have Cam Duddy from the mighty Midland, amazing band, 2-time Grammy nominees, Tequila company owners. This was one of my favorite convos, and it actually started with us busting Kenny's balls. But overall, what a life, what a dude. What a band, what a tequila. And I'm not just saying they're not paying us shit. I'm just saying I've drank a lot of that tequila in the past 24 hours and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Did you guys hit the
I have not gotten. I'm going to get a bottle though. And I'm a judge a book by the cover type of guy.
Yeah.
And I've worked in bars just like all three of us have. Not that I have like near the experience you guys do, but I worked like 5-6 years as a bartender back when I was like 18 to 24 or so. And I could tell just by looking at that bottle, that's quality tequila.
Facts. Facts.
So
shout it out, Insolito.
Shouts out Insolito. Absolutely incredible product. And I will continue to drink this, and I'll continue to update you guys on my findings. But so far, the Blanco is just absolutely outstanding.
You haven't busted into the Añejo or the
no Añejo, no Reposado. I will be getting
Reposado?
into it though. Yeah, Reposado. I'm a Blanco guy. I like how I said I was drinking the Blanco, and Cameron goes, "Yeah, that's basically like the baby version of the other two." And I was like, "Man,
hey, that's not a bad thing though. You're working your way up. I'm a Blanco guy myself. Yep. I don't typically. I shouldn't say that. If I have the choice between Blanco and Añejo, then I'm taking Blanco.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I like Añejo even more than Reposado.
I think for me, but it's like my caveman brain. I look at gold. I think gold tequila, and I think about Cuervo and all the bad experiences I've had. And
I think that's probably like
it's a mental
subconsciously block. Why I do the same thing. Cuervo's like the worst. It's sandpaper.
Cuervo is trash.
It's just the worst. I don't know anyone that hasn't had a bad experience with that.
Dude,
I really don't.
I would rather have a shot of Malort than a shot of Cuervo.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Talking about it right now is making like the back of my throat feel like
my worst Cuervo experience came Memorial Day weekend. I was 25. This was 5 years ago. We were in Wildwood, New Jersey. There was like I think 7 of us sharing a hotel room, and we were drinking Cuervo out of coffee cups. And I woke up the next morning, took a shower, and projectile vomited while I was in the shower, and then laid on the bathroom tile floor naked. I was dying.
I've done that plenty of times.
It shouldn't even be allowed to be sold. It's the worst.
It's like when dogs are really hot and they just lay on the floor near the vent. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the tile floor in a bathroom in the grimiest hotel room of all time was my air conditioning. But no, the interview with Cam Duddy is coming up shortly. Absolutely unbelievable. Should I put the just as a little bonus? Should I put the OAR bus interview at the end of this episode?
Throw it on.
Okay, right? Yeah. All right. So we have 2 interviews now. We got a bonus interview. Me bullshitting with the guys from OAR on the back of the bus. We got Cam Duddy as our main interview. It's a good hour long, so save some of that. But there's a couple things before we get into that I want to get into. And guys, I think I changed the course of human history. I don't know if I did a big video on this, and Capitol Records signed the first robot AI artist to a contract. Did you see this, Dave?
So I haven't read the story. I saw it. I don't know if this is an internet joke or not, but did the robot get canceled?
He got canceled.
Yeah.
Yo, he got dropped already. I made the video, and then I went on YouTube, and there's like 1,000 videos that say racist robot AI. Here's the backstory, basically. Fucking Capitol Records. I don't know what you're thinking. You guys are Frank Sinatra's label. You are a well-established record label. You should know better. I think somebody saw TikTok stats and were like, we should sign this guy. And they were like, well, it's a robot. It's AI. And they were like, fuck it. This is the future. It's developed by 2 white guys.
Dude.
It's developed
they're signing NFT DJs. Like, it's the same thing. Like, it doesn't make any sense. People are just like
dumb as fuck. This is the story. It was created by 2 white guys, 2 nerds, and it's voiced by a Latino guy. This is what I've read and gathered. It is like one of the worst caricatures of rap I've ever seen in my entire life. Not to mention that the AI image is saying the N-word an awful lot. And finally, if I'm looking at it and going, I can't believe nobody said anything about this. They got a letter from like an activist group that was basically like, this is one of the most offensive things we've ever seen. Please take this down. And Capitol Records was like, okay. And they dropped it right away. This is one of the weirdest stories I've ever seen in my entire life.
I blogged it. Of course, it's been sitting in drafts for over a day. It's too controversial for our fucking non-controversial company. Send me the video you did. I'm gonna throw it in there and pray that it somehow gets posted. But your video will get some clicks. Text it to me.
I will. I'm just fucking dumbfounded that Capitol Records.
I'm not at all. I'm dumbfounded that they didn't like dumb down the technology so that he wasn't just like, you know, like rapping about the most generic stuff. Like I heard, no, dude, when when I heard like some of the, I was like, wow, they let this guy listen to a ton of like XOXO rappers and just program his little brain to spit out the same stuff.
Dude, did you know there's one of its music videos was it getting arrested by the cops?
Like, no, I didn't see that.
This all feels like some sort of like weird edgelord joke to me, that like they were like, let's see how far we can take this. And then finally Capitol Records was like, wait, is this racist? Yeah, it's racist. We should probably get rid of this. This is one of the wildest fucking things I've ever seen. And Capitol Records, I said this in the video, stop fucking with
we should sign them. That'll put us on the map.
Yeah. FN Mecca has fallen. FN Mecca has fallen from Capitol Records to being the first signee of the On the Guest List podcast. The podcast came out and said, do your thing, dude. We appreciate what you do. You're not gonna let the cancel mob get to us.
I mean, we did say like months ago, if we want to take this podcast to the top of the charts, and Colin, I know you love those numbers, we got to get canceled. And
Dave is right.
Look at what this fucking Andrew Tate. Look at him. He's getting canceled.
Oh, you mean the top G?
Right.
You mean the top G?
Yeah, he's the top G. I'm actually gonna start saying that to everybody, just to piss people off.
Dave, take over his spot on Instagram.
You literally.
Yo, who is that guy?
I had to have him explain to me on Monday.
Deep state. I think he's deep state.
Dude, this is the story.
Where did he come from?
So his dad is like a black man, a grandmaster chess champion. I guess he would like, and he's from Chicago.
Really?
He would go to different parks in Chicago and he would play blindfolded and play like 12 people at once on different boards. And he would just go like rook to F5 and whatever the numbers are, and like knight to B3 and shit like that. He would dust them. And then he taught this Andrew Tate guy, who's like genius level smart, like an IQ of 160 or something, to play chess. So he won it was Illinois. Was it Illinois? He won one of the state championships for 16-year-old division as a 5-year-old. Then he became a double, triple black belt with 3 yellow stripes in kickboxing.
Yep.
And now he's worth like millions upon millions upon millions of dollars because he just knows how to hustle. He's got like 12 passports, and he's all very open about this. He's really tight with the gambling community in different countries like Moldova and the Eastern European and shit. And then what was the last thing so he manages OnlyFans models and he skims off the top of them. All he does is have them send him the risque pictures. And when you're chatting with dudes, he has like a whole laundry list of dudes that know what dudes want to hear when they want to spend money on sex. So it's all these these OnlyFans models that are talking to dudes without dudes are talking to them without realizing they're talking to dudes, and they just get suckered for thousands of dollars. And he skims like this guy is absurd.
So this guy's Lene Kakua. He's literally
not really. The pictures are of real models. And like
the picture of Lene Kakua was of a real girl.
I mean, that is a genius business model.
Dave,
serious.
I do have to ask you though. You know a lot. Did you like subscribe to Hustlers University?
Dude, no, I didn't know who this guy. Like, I heard the name a couple times recently because if you have to, unless you're living under a rock. So right. Chief explained all this to me. So he showed me a couple of the clips. I think it's blatantly like overzealous satire, but what he's saying in a few of them.
Here we go.
Dave's like, this Tate guy's got a point.
He's like, all dudes are looking for a status. Like, if everybody had a Lamborghini, would you want a Lamborghini?
Yo, we need to get you signed up for Hustlers.
Yes, I still would.
Bro, we need to sign you up for Hustlers University. I think
I'm already a hustler.
Wait, that's his. He has like an online school.
He has an online school.
Well, he's gotten taken down from like every social media platform for being sexist.
Well, I saw that, and that's why I was like, who is this guy? Why is like.
Dude, Tate should
he lives in like Romania or something. His mom's Poland.
Colin, why do you think he's deep state?
Oh, I don't know. It just seemed like something funny to say at the time. But tell me this doesn't feel like some sort of like plant, like, I don't know. Like, there has to be something more. There's no way he got this famous overnight and there wasn't something devious here going on.
But this is the thing about him is that he is on such a I don't give a fuck level that like he's relishing in all this. The more he gets canceled, the more fame he gets, the more money he makes.
He's like
all these fucking crazy people that can't take a joke or can't just ignore someone they don't like. They're feeding his fire. Sure. And the more they bitch about him, the stronger. He's like Donald Trump. He's like Donald Trump. If you just ignore him, he'd go away. But yeah, that's it.
Andrew Tate,
from Chicago, though, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if he is. His dad is, though.
Interesting.
Damn. But actually, he's from New York City. He was born in New York City, but was raised in London or something, somewhere in Europe.
He's just he has like, I feel like he's like from. You ever seen the movie Taking Lives? You ever seen that movie with Ethan Hawke?
Mm-hmm. No, I do like Ethan Hawke.
I think he's just been killing people and taking their identities. He's just lived multiple lives. But no, yeah, Andrew Tate. I don't know, how did we get there? FN Mecca? I don't know,
because he's been getting canceled by like everybody. But so. Long story short, if we do want to make number one on both charts, we have to hire this robot.
Okay. Yo, can we interview the robot?
We could ask
sign him.
Can I be honest?
Sign him.
He's a free agent right now.
I'm so afraid of robots, dude. I'm so afraid of robots. I have such Terminator fear. I think that we're gonna wind up pushing this shit too far. And FM Mecca is gonna be the first.
We already have.
Oh yeah,
we can't get Dante started.
I see. This is Dante's tinfoil hat memory right here.
We already have.
Other than that, Dante, the other thing I wanted to talk about. You think that DJ Khaled just released his track list? I have a feeling it's gonna be hot shit. I think it's gonna be hot dookie. I think it's gonna be terrible.
I don't know, man. I saw Eminem and Kanye on a track produced by Dr. Dre. Like, what?
Hold on, I gotta pull this up. Dave, did you see this track list?
I have not.
Okay, so here Drake.
It looks like those fake festival flyers people make, except it's a real track list.
Okay, so
it's literally every artist you can think of on
Drake, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, John Legend, Kanye West, Eminem, Future, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, 21 Savage, Roddy Ricch, Cuervo, Takeoff, Drake again, Lil Baby again, Future, SZA, Kodak Black, Don Toliver, Travis Scott, Gunna, Roddy Ricch. Dude, what the fuck? Like,
okay, it's either gonna be complete and total fucking dog shit, or it's gonna be the greatest thing of all time. No in between at all.
I'm going dog shit, dude. I would
lean dog shit.
I have a weird, like, dude, I can't watch another video of DJ Khaled talking about, he's like, everybody doubted us. I'm like, dude, you've been famous for like 15 fucking years. Who's still doubting you?
Fucking longer than that, yeah.
Bro,
that's his whole gimmick. He has nothing else.
Do you remember last year when he did the NBA All-Star game and he stood on the stage and said, they told me I'd never be at the NBA All-Star game doing the halftime show, but look at me here. It's like, who the fuck said that, DJ Khaled? who said that specific ass example of things that you wouldn't be able to do?
You know what? You bring up a good point. That's so specific that it's got to be a lie.
That's what I'm saying.
He sucks, man.
Like, no one has ever said, you know who's never going to do the NBA All-Star Game halftime show? DJ Khaled.
They told me that I would never be number 12 on the music commentary charts, and it's number 76, even though the charts are all fucked up and it's probably not real. But look at me now.
He sucks, man. I've met him a few times. Not a good dude. So
we should get him on the podcast.
Not a fan.
Dude,
he's such a pretender. It's such Mark. It's like someone asked on Facebook the other day. I posted that thing, and someone was like, "What? I don't understand. Like, what is it about this guy? What does he do? Like, he doesn't produce, obviously." And I said he's a marketing machine inside a marketing machine.
Facts.
It's exactly what he is. Exactly what he is.
If it wasn't for Snapchat, he would have went away years ago. Snapchat saved his career because he got lost at sea on a fucking jet ski and filmed the whole thing. It was hilarious. But then the shtick has been going now for like 7 years, and I'm fried. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I would love to have him on the podcast just to see how many things we can get him to say that he can't. They told us he would never be.
I mean, I can ask my buddy. My buddy's like his shoe connect. Yeah. Like, he's a huge sneakerhead, and my buddy runs English Soul, which is like a huge sneaker. You know Warren, Dave's.
Yeah,
Warren
I figured it was Warren.
Dave.
I gotta hit him up soon. I want a new pair of ones.
Yeah, so Warren like exclusively finds stuff for him, like super rare stuff, and he's like really cool and nice to Warren when he needs something, but the minute he doesn't need something, he's just a piece of shit. So I don't know, maybe I can phone in a favor through Warren.
I can fucking text Warren too. I talk to Warren somewhat regularly. What a great guy that guy is, just as a side note.
Oh, he's one of the best people in the entire world. Would do anything for anybody.
I might need to hit him up too. I want a pair of ones too.
Oh yeah, dude, anything you need, he can get you.
100%. I'll throw you in a group chat after this.
I cannot find Jordan 1s anywhere. Anywhere.
This kid, they have a warehouse of everything, every
in
size.
Michigan, yeah. That's all he does is buy and sell shoes. He's got shoes that he posts on his Instagram that are like $50,000 plus.
Oh, dude, he's got like all the like the M&M stuff. He's got all the like the player edition stuff, like the Drakes. He's got everything.
All right, shout out Warren, dude. Anybody who has shoe needs, go find Warren. We'll put you in a group chat.
Warren
English Soul on Instagram.
All right, well, let's before we get into on the list off the list, let's go into our first interview here. We'll get into our interview with Cam Duddy from Midland. All right, let's jump. Sadly, Cam, Kenny just had twins, so Kenny's not going to be here.
Dang, dude. Kenny's seed works, huh?
Yeah,
he had him like 2 months ago, and he's acting like he had him yesterday.
Whoa, I'm actually straight. I'm shocked on 2 levels, and I'm happy for him that he's had children. It's been a long time since I've seen Kenny, but the fact that he didn't go for the boys and just figure it out with the kids and not show up on this is fucking alarming to me.
I'm keeping this all in, dude.
Yep, we are. We're keeping this in.
It has to be on that shit, dude. I can't believe it. Kenny, I hope your kids are safe and sound and healthy, but shame on you for not getting on this thing.
Remember 2 years ago how COVID could be an excuse for anything, getting out of anything? Yeah. Kenny's using the kids as the new COVID excuse now.
Bro, I wish I could. I found that like the kid thing just isn't like it's only a button you can press a couple times. And now that everyone's had kids that I'm surrounded by, it's like from all different ages, right? Like the guitar player in our band has his daughter's going into high school. Whoa. So like it's like he's seen it all, man. So I can't like slip anything by him when it comes to the kids. Although he's incredibly sympathetic when it does come to. We've got 2 kids at home. It's not.
And you're here. Kenny's
I'm here, bro. And you know what? It did take a while, so I apologize. I know we're in the middle of a tour, and it's been hard to find a slot. I see you've got Insolito back there, which is very.
I have Insolito right here, and I want to start with this because your people got this to me literally overnight.
On the quick.
And just to preface this, we have Cam Duddy from the amazing Midland on here. I know we started by talking shit on Kenny. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to start.
I am, as most people in the music industry, I have incredible amount of bartending experience. Dante owns clubs. Dave drinks. Nice. This is
I just drink.
Dave, dude, this is one of the best tequilas I've ever had. I just tested it out because I was going to do a shot when we started, and I didn't want to make a face. I am a huge tequila drinker. My wife is a huge tequila drinker. This is Insolito. This is Midland's tequila. I have the Blanco here, and I figured ceremoniously the only way to start this, I'm doing a shot, and I'm going to give the face on camera.
Bro.
I got the Blanco here.
That's a hefty glass of it too, man. Oh my goodness. My boy takes what looks like a 3-finger shot down the gullet.
It's fucking incredible, dude. It's so good. Nice. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I did not grimace. I did not make a face. This is the Blanco. We have the Anejo and the Reposado over here. How did you guys get into the tequila game?
Let's jump right into it, dude. I will say that, like, well, let me back it up. We started in the tequila game because we were fans of the game for obviously a long time. And we found ourselves spending so much money on tequila. You know, you get a rider, right? They call it a rider backstage when you show up to a gig. And you've got the things that you know kind of are requesting to be in your green room, right? Is your rider, and your rider it's different for every band, you know, whatever it is, popcorn, fresh fruit that you never eat or even look at or even take the cellophane off of the plate, Skittles, you know, kombucha, whatever it is,
tea. I see tea on tons
tea
of riders.
is a universal. It has to be on there. Throat coat is just kind of.
Oh yeah.
What's it get touched? What's it get touched once a tour?
The throat
Maybe.
coat? No. Actually, the tea goes every night. We don't do the whole box, but like each one of us will take a tea at some point during the day. I can tell you that no one ever eats the fruit. It doesn't come out of the tray. It's so many fruit casualties on the road. But one thing that had been drank every night was tequila. And as we started to grow our band, we started to grow our taste in tequila. So we started requesting expensive tequilas. I would shout their names out, but that would be free shout outs for them, which no free.
We don't do that.
Insulito only. Insulito only.
So here's the dark secret, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. And I didn't know this until like our third tour manager. You pay for the rider. You pay. The promoter takes care of sending the guys out to buy it for you, but it ultimately comes out of your bottom line. Okay. So we looked and we were like, holy shit, we just blew $100,000 on tequila over the last year. This is so, and this is kind of before tequila was the thing, and before really whiskey was like, you know, there were some celebrity tequila whiskeys out there, but never really tequila. So we started on this process about 6 years ago. We linked up with a dude who had created a company with a quote celebrity and knew how to do this thing and then make it successful. So this guy Pete and I and the boys, we joined forces, and then a whole year was spent figuring out what the brand and the mission statement was, what we wanted to do, organic, right? Like small batch. And then we had to find the distillers, and that was an incredible process. And we went down to Mexico a few times to meet with different people who were, you know, distillers in the tequila game, all in the midst of an incredible whirlwind of touring. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. And we landed on and somehow managed to convince the Herrera brothers to join up with us. And these two brothers are generational mezcaleros, and they have their own distillery up in the Sierra del Tigre Mountains in Jalisco. And I know I'm droning on about this, but it's super passionate of mine. So it's important. These details become fundamental in creating something that tastes good and that looks authentic and feels authentic and is authentic. And those guys are the special sauce, you know, instead of like their stills aren't copper, right? They make them out of stainless steel, right? And just the microclimates up in where they are, it factors into all the flavor profiles that you're getting. And at any rate, long story short, we're very grateful to be in a business venture with these guys, the Herrera brothers. And you'll notice on the bottle, it doesn't say Midland on the front, you know, like this is about those guys. This is not a celebrity tequila. It's just a flat out, just a straight up good tequila that we want to compete with anybody in the game.
Cam, 2 things. One, did you guys hit it off with them right away, or was there a little bit
of legends? No, these guys are the best. These two brothers, really? They're so badass. Yeah, and their facility is like, it's really cool. It's like a blend between right now and future technology of distillery and old Mexican heritage. It's very cool. Forever to get there. You have to fly in. It's in the mountains of Jalisco. It's like, dude, being an American with a reverence for the Mexican culture, because I grew up in Southern California, and Mark is from Arizona, right on the border. You know, like it's such an incredible place that not enough people get to, is the Sierra del Tigre Mountains and the countryside to get there. I mean, you might as well be in Europe somewhere or in Spain.
So like correct me if I'm wrong, but tequila comes from just that one area of Mexico, right? Like Bordeaux comes from Bordeaux, France. Champagne comes from Champagne, France. You can't just grow tequila or agave plants anywhere in Mexico, right? It's that one certain region.
You can grow agave anywhere, wherever it is a climate that is suitable for the agave, but it can't be called tequila unless it's made in a very specific part of the world. And then also, so they say every tequila is mezcal, but not every mezcal is tequila. So there's also a process in which defines a tequila. But look, if you just like tequila and you don't care about any of this stuff, try a bottle of it, and I'll do the Pepsi challenge against anybody. We won 2 sip awards.
I just did.
Listen, man, I want it because Colin got it the other night and texted our group and was like, yo, I just tried this stuff and no bullshit. It's really, 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 really good.
I tried a ton. I love tequila. It's the only thing me and my wife can drink together because that's the only liquor she drinks.
Yeah.
I fucking love tequila. I need to get into the Reposado and the Añejo, but I've been killing this fucking Blanco, and it's delicious. It's outstanding.
Well, I want to say that you're drinking the child of the other two, right?
Yes.
Because we age our tequilas in American oak, which is also kind of different. But the longer it sits in there, the more the flavor profile changes. Of course, Reposado is slightly older than Blanco, and then Añejo is older than both of the two. We don't add additives, right? We don't do and I hate to shit on anybody else, but there are celebrity brands that are made in the same factories as 15 other tequilas. And the only way that you can change the flavor profile is to add shit to it, right? So that's not tequila, bro. That's cheating.
So if we put you in a ring with George Clooney, I assume you beat the hell out of him, right?
I will say, and look, you're talking to one of the biggest and greatest George Clooney fans on the face of the earth, but I put this up against I'm not going to say their name, but I will put this up against their tequila we beat the shit out of their Reposado.
I don't even know what their tequila is called.
I don't know what it's called.
It's completely out of my head. I actually do, but I'm not going to say it. Here's my question, though. I know we have the Dirty Heads interview later today. Should I just grab the Reposado and the Añejo and just tank the Dirty Heads interview and just get hammered right now?
Bro, tank it. Are you talking to Dirty Heads?
Yeah.
They've come on before. They're good people.
Talk to a lot of people, man. That's really cool. What was your passion? Why did you guys get into
we'll do a little background here.
Give me a background.
So when COVID hit, I'm in a band called Foxtrot and the Get Down out of Philadelphia. We were touring the country. We were doing all this shit, big festivals. COVID hit. World shut down. Couldn't tour. Started the podcast with the band. Did 75 episodes. White Sox Dave texted me blacked out one night to ask him how to play the guitar. And I said, we should turn this into content. Pitched that. They said, join his podcast. Me and Dave joined up, changed the name of the podcast. I'm friends with Kenny from writing songs in LA.
Yeah.
Brought Kenny on. Kenny's such a fucking lunatic that instantly Dave was like, okay, Kenny's got to be a co-host. And then Dante is just such a fucking vet, and he's a Barstool guy, and he's been trying to launch Barstool Backstage. He joined the podcast, and, now we're drinking tequila with you.
I love the format, boys. I love it. I think it's great. You guys have got gold. Hey, look, in the way that all tequilas are mezcals, but not all mezcals are tequilas, most people are podcasters, but look, not all podcasters are people.
That is the truest thing that's ever been said on this podcast. Everybody's got a podcast now. Every fucking mediocre looking white dude's got a podcast. I got a question for you though. So Dante, like we said at the start of the interview, he owns a bunch of clubs and bars throughout Chicago and Ohio, Columbus and Cleveland, right, Dante?
Oh shit.
Correct.
So a few weeks back, Bruno Mars, who I know he was in Dante's club promoting their new rum brand, and the rum, same thing. Like, I'm not a big, I'll call it a liquor head. I don't know what's good, what's bad. I can tell when I taste it, but you should stock up in Dante's bars because they're all killing it throughout Chicago. And
I think we're in Ohio. We're launching Ohio very soon, so we'd love to figure that out, Dante. But back to Bruno Mars's Selva. I guess we can say that because it's not.
Yeah,
I got
phenomenal.
In fact, I've got it sitting. He sent me
Dude, it's phenomenal.
It's good, huh?
Well, let's circle back to that though, because Kenny, we got the drop on you, dude. We got the intel. Kenny gave us a little bit of background. Yeah. You lived a life before Midland.
Oh yeah.
You not only toured with Kenny and AWOL as a videographer, but you were a fucking video producer for Bruno Mars and a bunch of other people. Talk to us about the life before Midland. How did this all happen?
That's why I wanted to transition like that.
That's my man right there.
Nice transition, dude. We're learning, we're evolving, like the Raptors in fucking Jurassic Park, dude.
Turning into chickens and birds and stuff. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about figuring out where the weak spots are in defenses. But like, yes,
I got you. That's evolution, smarts, all that stuff.
I met Kenny back in LA. I was, I grew up doing two things always. Outside of sports, there was always three things: sports, seasonal, right? And then music and movies, and always all together, and it really got me through, a kind of wild childhood full of divorces and like relocations and, like just all sorts of normal 21st century or 20th century, 80s babies growing up shit, right? Mm-hmm. And I found myself in LA in a couple bands, and those bands weren't really working out because in LA it's just so hard to get a leg up, as you guys may or may not know. It's definitely, Tom Petty famously said, if you want to start a band, don't move to LA.
Yep.
And so when those bands two of those bands, I was working with a guy, my friend, I had a band with my friend named Jess, and I had a band with my buddy named Mark, separate bands. We'll get back to those two guys later. When those bands broke up, the obvious path for me, maybe not to anybody else, was, look, I have some friends like Aaron Bruno of AWOL Nation, who is making it right now and just got a record deal, and a couple other buddies that are kind of making it. Like, I'll just do music videos for those guys. If I can't do music, I'll do music videos. I've been doing videos my entire life, right? So like short films and shit like that, or like recreating Beastie Boys Sabotage in high school, right? And like learning how to film stuff and edit.
Hold on. Do you have that still?
Yeah,
dude, I it probably is a phone call away. I know it's not.
Dude, I want to see that.
It's so good. It's really good.
Would you say what's the weirdest video that you ever made? Because I have one from high school. We had to do a Spanish project, and I was the only one who knew how to work a camera. So I filmed this video where we had to make a commercial in Spanish for our Spanish class, and we made up an energy drink called "Make It Rain," which is El Hace Llover. Yeah. But we set it to Lil Wayne's "Make It Rain" with Fat Joe. Beautiful. It's still on YouTube. It is wildly offensive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, it's still on YouTube. But that was my intro to video and shit like that. So besides Sabotage, is there any other that you remember from a young age being like, oh shit, I can do this?
Oh, dude. I mean, in video production was the only class I showed up for. So I almost got kicked out of high school for truancy. I was never there. I was a single mom in high school. I was without a leash. I was a dog without a leash, and I did whatever I wanted to. And the one thing that I could put my focus my energies towards was being in a band. At the time, that one was called, I was post-metal, and I had gotten into funk, and that band was called Awful Waffle. And
salute your short shout out. I got that.
Yeah, straight up. Let's go. Okay.
I love that.
And that's right, dude. Salute your shorts.
What a great show.
What a Nickelodeon dream.
Dude, they ripped the kid's shirt up, put the tennis racket, pressed the tennis racket on him, and poured syrup on it.
Right. That's exactly right, dude.
that was the band name. That's a great band.
I gotta try doing that again. So on myself. So anyway, look, the worst thing I ever did, I don't know, I can't remember. There's so many weird things that I did. in high school, but they were always like really well executed and like fully thought out. And like, I knew I could start a project and finish a project, and I could get people to do those things with me, so that was a trick that I learned in high school. And also building bands, right? And keeping bands together and trying to, scheduling band practice and getting shows. And so cut to LA without a band, I start doing like videography and music videos. And the first video I ever did was for AWOL Nation's Sale. And it was a harrowing experience, to say the least, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in the big leagues like that. And I made every mistake you could, but I eked it out, I finished it, and I did it. And we call it directing, right? So there's in music, there's a producer. In music, in movies and in music videos, there's a producer and a director. Sometimes they're the same guy, but I'm a director. I'm less a producer. And I edit. But that's how I met Kenny, because he was involved in that project. And I found myself with, a couple of years of doing like music videos and like tour videography, because I could hang on tour, and I, spoke the language, and I was young enough and dumb enough to want to be on tour at the time. And I met Bruno Mars in that era, and we hit it off, and I got a couple great opportunities with him early on that were major wins. And I just linked those terms like in skiing, and ended up doing like 8 or 9 music videos for Bruno. And I did a ton of AWOL. And shit, I had climbed to the top of the heap in music video world, like in a matter of 2 or 3 years, and was like working with J-Lo and Britney Spears. And just like I had more work than I could ever want, and I was operating at a high level. And then I got married, and I invited Mark and Jess to the wedding up in Wyoming. We had a couple days off before the wedding, and I hadn't picked up a bass or a guitar in 4 years at that point. We're sitting on the porch, and we start playing music, and the sparks were flying, man. And 6 months later, we started recording music, and I moved to Texas, and the rest is history. I quit music videos.
Now, on that, you said that your first project ever out in LA was with Sale and Kenny and AWOL Nation. Now, we've heard the story of how Sale was kind of born 1,000 times through Kenny, and it's an awesome story. Yeah, he said it was just him, and who was it? Who was he with?
Aaron.
It was Aaron, yeah. They're like, dude, let's just write a song. And they like got super stoned, and in 45 minutes, high on some 1-bedroom LA fucking dump of a couch or whatever, Sale was born. And so you called it the big leagues. How long after Sale was like, I don't want to call it going viral, because how long after it was like a smash hit, because everybody and their mothers heard that song, whether they realize it or not? Did you realize, or did you hop on board with them?
I can't really remember the sequence of events, but I remember Aaron and I lived together. We were squatting in a guest house that my grandma owned. And it was basically slums of Beverly Hills, because it was in Beverly Hills, but we were literal bums. Like, we could barely afford gas. We were living in Coldwater Canyon, but like total degenerate losers. And Aaron was on the backside of a 3rd record deal and had lost everything in his life and was starting brand new. He was living in the garage. I was living above him. Just like the best and the worst times all at once. And I remember he played Sale for me upstairs in my room, and immediately I started like sketching in a notepad like what I wanted a music video to be for it. And that is interesting now looking back, and I haven't thought about this in years, but like the first inclination was, how can I visualize this for Aaron and help him? We were so connected and close at the time, and still remain good friends. I was not the first guy on their list to do music videos. It was the second single that they tried. The first one was called Burn It Down. Mm-hmm. I had done a music video for it on my own dime that sucked fat nuts. It was terrible. So they did an official video. I got called in to be the editor on it, which I was very grateful for. Aaron was always in my corner. Like, Aaron was always like, yo, I got this guy. Like, you just don't understand. He's a genius. He was always beating the drum for me. And like, he definitely started my path in we were just, we were just outcast together, and really down on our luck together and made the best of it. And when they called up for sale to do a music video, they didn't think it was going to be a hit. So they threw me some breadcrumbs. They're like, well, you did that editing thing. And you kind of screwed up that directing job that we had. Like, here you go. And I did the thing, and it was a great video. It was the first like really great thing I ever did, I think. And the song took off within like 6 months.
It does make me feel bad that we've made fun of that song so much because
it's parody now. Like,
it is. Well, it's more that we've spent thousands of hours with Kenny and we just love to make fun of him, which is funny because we're making fun of something that is diamond and has brought Kenny immeasurable wealth. We're just like, fuck you, dude, that song sucks.
No, I know. It's look, you can only hear the song for the first time once. And that first time you're just like, oh shit. And by the way, this is way before this is before Imagine Dragons, not way before, but it beats that version of rock and roll that we now know as pop rock by a good year and a half. And Aaron's band before that, the Giants, was the predecessor to that sound. So like, I feel like, without a question, and no one could argue this, that he was he wrote the prototype for what would be arena pop rock of the 21st century with that 100%. Song and that sound. And it's like all great things. It's like you get too much of it and you just like, I can't ever hear this again.
Before I ever met Kenny, before our first writing session in LA, I told him that song hit when I was in high school. So it was on the fucking radio every 10 seconds. I hated him for it because it's all I ever heard. And then you get in a room with him and he's the nicest guy ever. Although he's, a flake now and doesn't show up to podcasts.
Yeah. He's, the riches have gone to his head, dude.
Yeah. 100%. Oh no, the weed has gone to his head is the problem.
Yeah, the weed, the riches.
Well, today I'll be like, it'll be 2 a.m. I'll be drunkenly stumbling home in an Uber and it'll pop on and I'll just send him a picture of like the stereo saying "Sail AWOL Nation." It's how that song came out, 10 years ago? 12 years ago?
10, 12?
Probably older than that. Yeah, older than that now. Yeah.
It's been around since the beginning of time. It's primal. But no, so okay, so let's go back through our steps here. So you guys link up, wedding weekend, you start making music, and obviously you're doing great with the music videos, but something happens where Midland starts to form. Like, what are those early stages like to where you guys are like, we could do this. We could absolutely do this.
So it was reverse engineering, like from the get-go. Like, this is band, 23 for me, right? Since my first band's in 6th grade. Like, real shit though, like going, practicing, making music, covering songs, booking shows, making the flyers. That's 6th grade. It starts for me. So by the time Midland is an idea, it's like we're all living in different parts of the country at this point. Mark and I are in LA, but have full-time jobs, like I said, and Jess had moved back up to Portland. So we were trading songs via text after the wedding for about 6 months. And when enough songs accumulated, I suggested, why don't we just go book studio time out at this place called the Sonic Ranch outside of El Paso. And
shouts out the Sonic Ranch, one of the coolest studios in the world.
Without a doubt. It's a total vibe, and you go out and you lock away because it's in the middle of nowhere, in the desert, on the border, in the middle of a pecan field with all the baddest ass equipment, but like everything around it is crumbling. It's so cool. And you sleep away there, like a sleepaway camp. And so we booked time. We went out there. We hammered out like 18 demos in 10 days. And on the flight home, listening to the board mixes, I mean, speaking for myself, I thought my life is about to change for sure. Like, this is really special. And it came relatively effortlessly, since considering we hadn't sweated it out in a garage or a rehearsal space anywhere. So we got back and I immediately started rallying people around the project that I had met through, my let's call it career in music videos at the time. So I had accumulated a Rolodex of like managers and people at labels that I had become familiar and friendly with and friends with. And so I started sending it out. What do you think? You know, and originally I really didn't see myself in the band. I wanted these two guys to have their own. I thought it was just them, you know, because I had my own gig. And I just, through osmosis and like talking about it enough with people and selling it enough and like generating enough enthusiasm with it. And like we went to go and shoot a music video for a song called 14 Gears that we had recorded because that, you know, that was part of your EPK. We needed a music video.
Oh, the EPK. Wow.
So who's going to be the bass player? Well, I played bass because I recorded on the sessions, right? Even though I showed up with the camera, I'm like, I'll play bass. I'll sing harmony. You know, it'll be my name in the liner credits. But now I'm in the music video and I'm directing the music video and I'm talking about it so much. I became in the band. And like I said, you know, I'm not a front man and I'm not like a musical like efficient. I'm not a savant. I'm not a super efficient at any one instrument. I can play a lot of them really well, but like I'm not a lord. I'm not a guitar lord. I'm not a drum lord. I'm not a bass lord. The thing I do well is I'd like to think that I once I get something in my sights, like there's no stopping me, and I know how to keep people invested. Like I know how to rally troops.
And that's more important than anything, I feel like.
Oh, it's the most important thing in a band.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of great music and know the camaraderie is between everybody. So you can't take credit for that, right? Like, and we were built-in friends. So we had that additional advantage, right? We had already known each other. There was no getting to know you phase. We didn't meet each other in the fucking recycler, you know? But I think that every band needs somebody who's gonna like do the dirty work, you know, like the shit that you don't want to do. And I find that I'm pretty good at that stuff, you know, and I don't mind doing it. So it's just one of many elements that go into Midland that make it work. It's not the only one for sure, but you know, you can't do that without the songs, and the songs originally came from Jess. Now we all write together. We all share in that, and the voice is Mark with our harmonies. And he's got this charisma that is totally undeniable and timeless. You know, fucking, I play the bass. So,
well, here's this. So you worked with like J-Lo and Britney Spears and Bruno Mars and all these mega A-list blue chip pop stars. How did you come up with the country sound? Because that's like a pretty big juxtaposition where it's just like, all right, here's Britney Spears in her super sexy jumpsuit. And then here's Midland. He's like, you know, hill rods from Texas.
It's totally like a non sequitur. It doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Like the guy who grew up in California who ends up doing music videos for Bruno Mars and J-Lo is now 1/3 of a traditional country band.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Sounds like a Mad Lib, dude.
I mean, Mark really originally turned me on to country in my early 20s when we were playing in our band, you know, and he grew up on a ranch in Arizona, you know, working in his parents' bar and, you know, wrangling steer. Like he's a real cowboy, and he really understands that. And he comes from that stock, and he has an incredible reverence for the music that he grew up with. The classics, George Strait, George Jones, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, you know. So I was, Merle Haggard, you know, was a big one that we bonded on over. But he was showing me this stuff, and it was like, oh, we got to cover that. So I'm like in a crash course of country music in my early 20s via Mark. And then like anything, I become obsessed with it. And so by the time Midland comes around, I've already got my bachelor in country music. It's time to go for your
doctorate, whatever.
Doctorate, you know, and you can't do that until you really start to write your own version of it and live it. And when we moved to Texas after those demos had been done and we were looking for a record deal for 2 years, we hunkered down in this room right here and we played 7 days a week, working on our harmonies, writing music, rehearsing as a trio, booking gigs. So you've got the guy that just came from being on set and in charge of $1 million music videos to leaving, moving to Dripping Springs, Texas, where no one had ever heard of, and starting a country music band with his two knucklehead buddies, playing bar gigs on Wednesday night to 0 people for drink tickets. And people thought I was absolutely insane. Like, my crew was calling me going, dude, like, what did you do? Are you okay? You didn't tell anybody you were leaving. And meanwhile, I'm as happy as I've ever been in my life doing that. You know, in fact, that was probably the happiest time of my entire, life so far, was like doing that specific time, growing and learning and like forging our band in the honky tonk.
That's so fucking awesome,
good,
man.
Dude.
Yeah, give me like a scale. So I assume you were making money doing the videographer, being a videographer, all those mega famous music videos and everything. You left that on your own accord. How much hesitation was there? Like 80% you knew it was going to work and that's why you did it, or 20%, maybe it doesn't. Like, what was the breakdown like there?
I figured nothing in this life is permanent, and I knew to trust my own barometer, and I'd know when things weren't working. So I figured, and I told my wife when we were, she would, let's go, like, let's buy a farm out there and like live this idea. Like, she's from the Midwest, so she was like, get me out of the city. And so me and her road dogged it out here with a U-Haul full of our shit. We both knew that, like, if it didn't work out, we could always sell this house that we bought and come back to LA, no harm, no foul, or find another path. But like, life is really for, it's like, you're not going to go to the same restaurant every night and get the same meal every night. It's about all the flavors, and trying to experience as much shit as you can. The older you get, the harder to do it, So my motto is, fucking just stay curious about all sorts of things, and follow your passion. You have to listen to the little voice in your head that goes, what's that book? Or like, what's Australia look like? Or,
Australia doesn't
movie
exist.
Or whatever, like, there's nothing is off the table.
This might be the conversation this podcast needed right now. I don't know how else to put this, but this is like, I don't know. Like, I feel like we're at the stage right now where these are the conversations we need to have. And that is such a fucking great story, because you guys have always intrigued me in a certain perspective, because I work a lot in Nashville. I write in Nashville for CSAC. So I work through that to write with other country singers.
Oh yeah.
But Midland has always confused me in a certain perspective, because you guys have always gotten major looks, but you don't really play the major pop country game. You're not writing the same songs as everybody else. You're doing this more iconoclast thing where you're hearkening back to like the old style of country. Like, how have you guys garnered that acceptance from the Nashville kind of elites to make the country that you're making and not doing the same thing as everybody else?
Well, like with anything, whether you're writing a script or making a tequila brand or starting a country music band, you have to be in tune with the thing that got you into it and trying to stay true to that thing. There's always going to be, when it comes to art and commerce, there's always going to be casualties, and you're always going to be the word is escaping me right now because I haven't had my adaptogens, but concessions, right? The trick is like creating, like, being in tune with your own compass or the compass of your band and going like, that concession is worth it, that one's not. This one isn't going to pull us too far from the course so we can do it. This one will, right? And that's how you create something that lasts, I feel like, and that is I don't know, of quality. We just happen to have this mandate that we wanted to honor the music that we loved listening to, and that was our North Star. You know, like, it's pretty simple to stay on that course when you've identified why you started this thing and what you want to do with it. You know, I think the hardest thing to do is to get into a business and not exactly know what you want to do. You know, and then you're just like caught up in the Nashville system. You're like, oh, grow a mustache, I'll grow a mustache. Write this kind of song, write this kind of song. You put a hat on, cool, put that. And now you're chasing a trend, and you're fucked. You know, Yvon Chouinard of Patagonia gave this interview, and he said, you know, the minute you start listening to your audience, you've lost. You know, what you need to do is continue to try and create and push your thing forward, so that, like, you can't chase the trend. You can't, I mean, you should look, if this shirt sells 1 million shirts, we got to keep making this shirt. I'm not saying to not make the shirt or try to harness a thing that worked, but you have to evolve it forward. You know,
100%. And I think that's what I've always really respected about you guys. And that's why I was so fucking excited that you guys were down to come on, because in a world that we're speaking about, the music industry, it's all trends all the time. But when you find those people that can buck the trends and do what they want, and then people start to follow that, those are the people that you want to talk to.
The trendsetters.
The trendsetters. And I think that's what Midland has always been. And your life and your entire story is so goddamn interesting. It leads me to kind of where you guys are today and why you're here, between Insolita, which is, once again, outstanding tequila. Everybody go get it. But you guys just had a new record drop. You have a tour. You guys are playing Red Rocks. You have a new single with John Party out. Kind of catch us up to where you are right now.
Well, I think a great connection between the last question and this one would be Midland has suffered in a way. If you are going to create a scale of success based on celebrity and money, we have definitely made suffered casualties and losses in that respect, because we have not done all the things that most people in Nashville do. We could be bigger, we could be more famous if we did a couple things differently. Move to Nashville for one. Fuck. Right? But because we are who we are, and there's no changing that, we don't have not every single one of our singles has gone #1, right? Not every one of our, you know, I mean, fill in the blank. Like, what are the qualifiers? You know, like, not all of them are 1,000% aces, right? I can tell you the things that have gone well for us has been making and putting out incredible music. Like, pound for pound, every one of our albums, I would say that they're the best albums that have come out in the last couple decades in country music. I can say that because I'm part of a band. Now, if I was a solo artist, that's kind of a shitty thing to say. But I'm sharing in the glory here. We beat everybody else. That's a fact. If you have a difference of opinion, find the nearest wastebasket and throw it in there. I don't give a shit.
Go full Kenny Powers, dude. Go Kenny Powers. Let's go.
The other thing that we've done really well, it has served our fans live, and we are a very hardworking touring band, and we get out there often, and when we do get out there and show up in your town, we put on a fucking great show. No tracks, all live music, honky tonk shit. You know, we can play in a bar, we can play in an arena, we can play in a stadium with Garth Brooks, which we have. So that is the thing that we're, oh yeah, man.
What is Garth like?
Oh, Garth, I've heard great, nothing but the best things.
Garth is like, he's like celebrity Jesus.
Dude, I was all right. So I was gonna say, I watched his doc and I was blown away at what a like philosopher he is. Like his anecdotes and his quotables were just like, I was like, this guy is like a fucking philosopher.
Yeah, he's like a baseball coach meets like a meets George Strait or like Chris Ledoux or something like that. He's an incredibly abundant person, and his energy to be around is just whoa, like
does he ever slip into Chris Gaines at all? Like, does he ever slip into
no, in fact, we have a podcast and a radio show, and the podcast is called Set It Straight. We talk with people about, each episode is surrounded by a fable or lore in and around country music. And we got to talk to him about an episode that involved him and signing autographs for 23 hours straight without taking a piss. And one of the things that we were told before getting into the interview was, out of respect for Garth, please do not mention under any circumstance Chris Ledoux, or I'm sorry, Chris Gaines. So you kind of have Tourette's a little bit, like you like there's that voice in the back of your head, like, what if I just blurted it out right now? But I would say that after meeting Garth, you just like you really just want to be a good person and very abundant with people in their time. But he's been a celebrity for so long, you have to imagine that it has had some sort of warp on his brain. Like he seems very capable and comfortable being Garth Brooks all the time. I'm different. Like I have to be able to walk away from being the Midland guy and just be a guy in my underwear sitting in the back patio, like just
church and state,
completely fucking off,
Church and state.
I feel like he's like always Garth Brooks. It's hard to imagine him not being that.
I mean, Cam, this has been incredible, and I feel like you are cut from the same cloth as us. Like, you are definitely from our world. We'd love to have you back on whenever.
Yeah.
And I know we've taken up a lot of your time. Just to wrap things up, though, let's plug a couple things here. What's the next show? What's the next single? Is there anything you want to get out there?
Couple things, bros. One is we just put out our last album. The last album that we put out recently is called The Last Resort, Greetings From. It's fire. It is undeniable, pleasurable, boat drinking, truck driving, patio sitting, whiskey, insulin shop sipping, high-fiving, pool diving, sexual power. I dare you not to listen to this album. We are taking it on the road to a city near you. Last fall was the Midwest and the East Coast. This fall, we're covering mostly the West. Couple highlights is we're playing some huge shows in Arizona. We're getting up to the PNW for the first time in a couple of years, which is exciting. Portland, Seattle. We're playing the Greek Theater in LA, which is a victory lap for your boys, because like I said, I grew up in LA. We started our bands in LA. Couldn't afford a burger in LA. Now your boys are playing the fucking Greek Theater, headlining, sold out show at the Greek.
Love it.
So get your scalp tickets. Playing Red Rocks, which is
huge.
Huge.
That's fucking huge, man. Good for you, dude.
Thank you. We're super excited about that. Bucket list situation. And we are going to Australia in December. So for all of your Australian listeners, look into that. It's going to be fun. And we've got a single out with John Party at radio.
Long neck way to go.
Long neck way to go.
Which, Cam, I don't want to cut you off, but I want to tie this back into something. I don't know who is responsible for your guys' album and cover art, but they are fucking incredible. I pulled up this cover art for Long Neck Way to Go, and I've been staring at it this whole interview, and I'm still laughing. Dude, it is one of the best covers I've ever seen. Thanks, like all you guys holding bowling balls, just staring off into.
Dude, have you seen the music video?
bro. But hold on.
Yeah.
And then I've seen some of your other ones, like the Set It Straight, the caricature one, and the cowboy boot is awesome.
Thank you.
Like you guys branding is great, but
I do all that. That's someone's got to do the dirty work. So
you are like a fucking Swiss Army knife. You do fucking everything. It sounds like
someone's got to sit in the dark recesses of a room and fucking hit keys and shit. But I'm happy to do it. I love it.
Damn, man, you are one talented motherfucker. But
I will say though, my wife also does the photography and she directed the music video for Long Neck Way to Go. So shouts out to Harper.
Shouts out Harper.
That's good. That's good to get some points in there right there.
Yeah,
there you go.
She could be listening and I'm dog meat. So
I got one last question for you before we let you go. So you said you're on your way to getting a doctorate in country history, country music, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Eric Church had a line that really resonates with me. The best blue jeans have skull rings. You dip. Because that's like
that's a grizzly ring. But I am no longer dipping. I had
your masters then.
Are you a Zen boy?
Mark is a Zen boy. Mark is a big time Zen boy, dude. Not that I'm suggesting any of your listeners get addicted to tobacco related products.
Dave does it every week, so it doesn't matter.
But dude, my move was the Grizzly Pouch. That was my move. It's hard to beat the Grizzly Pouch or a Skull Bandit, but I'm dude. You get older and you're like you find
a couple years older than me.
Mixing tobacco, mixing nicotine with drinking on the road, dude, it's just like it's a dangerous prospect.
Yes, it is.
So to be focused, you have to have your shit clean. And for me, the cleanest energy drink is Insolito on any given night. And if I'm not hammering Insolitos, I'm hammering Coors Lights, bro. The Silver Bullet gets me there.
There we go.
I'd like to get blue and go to the mountains.
I go to the mountains.
Mountains are blue. Speaking of blue, Insolito Blanco. I
that
my full endorsement.
Awesome, by the way.
That first thing my
boys. That wasn't just me, man. That was the boys.
It's a great name too.
Trial by committee. Thank you.
First thing.
Go ahead. How did you guys come up with the name? I wanted to ask you at the very beginning of the interview, but we got on a tangent.
If you think naming a band is hard, you try naming a tequila brand. I mean, fucking hardest thing we've ever had to do. It took months. And boy, I'm almost positive it wasn't me that came up with Insolito. I want to say it was Mark.
Was there another name that was close to being the tequila?
Oh, dude, there were so many names, man. I mean, they were all Spanish names, but like the problem is you'd go and then you'd have to have your lawyers do a deep dive on like who's got a trademark on it.
Trademarks, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a crazy of all time, and all of a sudden there's, some guys got that. Insolito was free and clear. And you know what? Totally kismet, destiny that we landed on that name, because it's like kind of the only name it ever could have been. Right. Insolito means rare and uncommon. And I feel like in the spirit of all the things that Midland has ever done, and like we were talking about, like just following your own path, it's a rarity that you get to do what we do on the level that we do while also enjoying your gig and making music that you're proud of, so let that be a inspiration for anybody who's listening.
And I'm just saying, as a songwriter, as a musician, as a podcaster, as a bartender, I cover a lot of fields, and I know my fucking tequila. This is some of the best tequila I've ever had in my entire life. I fully support it. No free ad, or I guess free ads in this scenario, but dude, get on the Insolito. Do it now.
I love that.
Yes.
Man, what a very what a rewarding interview this has been. And
likewise.
All positive vibes.
Except for Kenny.
The Kenny thing, we got it out of the way in the beginning, and you know what? I didn't miss him. I gotta say. There probably would have been too much familiarity anyway, and it would have maybe jammed up our natural flow. So it is what it is.
You know what's great?
Go ahead.
You know what's great? So I've been slamming Kenny every week,
So
like
hard.
I did in the beginning of this, and the fact that you just threw that in there too. I've been doing it partly because he doesn't listen to these. Because if he did, he would be like, Dante, you're a fucking cocksucker. But he just says, great episode, guys, or whatever. So I know he doesn't listen.
Oh, I know you didn't listen. Yeah.
So with you just throwing in that shot right there at the end, like he's gonna again. Hopefully he does listen to this one.
He'll either text me or he won't.
An asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I will say this, dude. This has been one of my favorite interviews we've done. Everyone, go check out Midland on the Road. Listen to the new album, the new single with John Party, and please go drink in Toledo. Cam, anything else for us, brother?
Dude, I would just say that, it's you assume living in Texas now and like living in the world that most people are country music fans. You just get locked into that scenario, but it's important to remind myself that obviously not everyone's a country music fan. So if you're listening and you're like, I just don't like country music, so skip. And if you've made it this far, I know you're curious. Do me a favor. Midland is most people's gateway into country music. I can't tell you how many times people come up to us in the meet and greets or out in the world on tour, and they go, I didn't like country music until I listened to you guys. Thank you so much. I'm now a country music fan, and you've opened the door to all these other people. That's the greatest compliment of all time.
Hell yeah.
So if you're curious, if you have a spare 2 minutes, just like go and listen to a song. And if you like it, then thank you. If not, no problem. There's always sale,
Yeah, what you got your feet into. I love it.
It's a callback.
Oh my God. All right, everybody, go listen to Midland, drink in Toledo. Cam Duddy, thank you so much, brother.
Cam, you're the man.
All right, bros. Till next time.